Hey there, I'm Scott, the winemaking guy, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 12 of Help My Winemaking, the video podcast that helps people like you improve your winemaking savvy so you can make great tasting homemade wine. All right, let's get this show on the road. So, on today's show, the Resolutions Keepers winemaking contest. I've got some details and we're finally launching it. I also going to talk about how to easily remove labels from your wine bottles. And finally, do wine kits have expiry dates? Okay, here we go. So, some details about the Resolution Keepers winemaking contest. So, if you recall from episode 11, I was talking about this, and the purpose behind this contest is to help people who resolve to make more wine at New Year's Eve to make more wine this year. So the time frame, I'm going to give you 3 months from the start date, which is going to be January 31st of 2010, to get rolling and to report on your progress. So it's going to go till April 23rd, I believe it is. So why you should enter? Well, you get to submit photos and stories as you make your wine, and you'll be a star feature on my blog and podcasts. And also, a great opportunity to meet other winemakers with similar interests from around the world, and that opportunity is available to you if you want to be linked up with someone who also enters into the contest, and you two can coach each other over those 3 months. So you get to be the judge as well. So entries will be posted to the blog, and winners of the contest will be based on the number of votes they get. So prizes will include 1 to 3 years, depending on if you place first, second, or third, to my upcoming winemaking society site, which will contain winemaking videos from around the world. It's going to have a monthly winemaking newsletter, which you can get either by print or by email, as well as featured telephone interviews that I do with winemaking people from the industry. So I'm really looking forward to getting this launched. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's going to be fantastic, and I hope you guys look forward to getting it too. So also going to get a copy of my upcoming Passionate About Homemade Wine winemaking manual that I'll be releasing in the next few weeks, as well as copies of the Fruit Wine Guide, which is from my friend that you've heard of before, Dominic Rivard, as well as the Winemaker's Handbook. Now, to register, you have to go to thewinemaking.com/contest, and if you give me a sec, I'll show you how that looks. So if you go to thewinemaking.com, and you'll see here another way you can get to it is under contests, and it's the Resolution Keepers winemaking contest. I posted it today, so you can see the purpose. Here's the entry form. So fill out your first name, last name, email, country where you're from, because I'm just curious where you're all from, what kind of wine you'd like to make. So from kits, from fruit, from fresh kits, all the above. If you want to be matched up with someone else who also enters the contest, a picture, of course. I'd like to see what you look like, so you can upload a picture of yourself, so to include in the blog, as well as write down what your New Year's winemaking resolution is. So give me some good details there, because that'll be posted. And then, of course, if you click here, you can see the rules and just click yes. You read them and submit your entry, and away you go. Now, also, if you have friends or family who like to make wine and you think might also be interested in joining the course, here you can let them know using Facebook or Twitter. So there you go. Check it out. Hope you sign up, and it's going to be lots of fun. All right, so let's get back to the show here. Okay, so once again, go to register, go to thewinemaking.com/contest. Okay, so how to easily remove labels from wine bottles. So Ron emailed this question to me. He says, "Thank you very much for a helpful website. I've learned many valuable pieces of information so far. I have a question. What is an effective way to remove the labels from old wine bottles? I have quite a few and I'm having trouble getting the labels and the residual adhesive off of the bottles. Thank you very much for your help on this." So what I did today is I took some pictures and did it. I thought, why not make a podcast out of it? So I've got a couple of wine bottle trees. These are all these. Whenever we drink a bottle of commercial wine, I save the bottle, rinse them out, and put them on a tree for later removal. Unfortunately, I think I've got hundreds of these bottles to do. Anyway, so here are two bottles that I took. One's I think this is from Argentina, and this one is from Australia. So two tools you can get, both under $5 at your local hardware store. This is a wall scraper, so when you, for example, apply drywall compound, and this one is if you a window scraper if you want to remove, say, putty, or not putty, but caulking from a window. This one is plastic, and this one's metal, and it has a razor blade edge. So step one, soak your bottles in warm water. Give them an hour or two. What I just did was dunk them in the water, and then went on and worked on this podcast actually, and then came back, took some pictures so I can put them on. So for the Argentinian bottle, I just used the plastic scraper, and you can see this has been soaking for a bit, easily scraped off. For the Australian bottle, Little Penguin, I used the metal scraper, and that's because Australian bottles for some reason seem to have more glue to them and are harder to get off. Anyways, so once that was done, I just pulled the foil or shrink off, and that you just need to make a little cut with a knife or something, and then they easily pull off. They're not glued. And then I used this sponge to just buff the excess adhesive off, and then I used a towel to dry it, and there you go. So step five is just enjoy. So we went from bottles with labels on to bottles without labels and ready to go. Now, obviously, if you have got a bunch of bottles to do, you can get a bigger bin, like a garbage can or something, to soak them in hot water. But if you only have two, well, I just use your sink. So there you go. There you go, Ron. Hope that explained how, or at least how I do it. Okay, so final thing we're going to cover today are, do wine kits have expiry dates? And this is a question from Ernie from this fall. He asked, I enjoy your winemaking episodes. Keep up the great work. I have a question. I've acquired two 7-kilogram wine kits, one red Burgundy and a Riesling. Also a 2.84-liter premium crushed Loganberry kit in a sealed can. These kits are estimated to be well over 5 years old. Wow. I need your opinion. Are these kits any good to use? There is no expiration date as far as I can see. Are there any indicators that tell if the wine would be any good, or would the best advice be to dump down the drain? Interesting question, and what I said to Ernie was, wow, I'm sure there's lots of people who would like to know about this too. All I can do is give best guesses, but I did recommend that he talk to the manufacturer, see what they say, and to get back to me so I can tell you folks. So he did, and here's what he told me. So he was told by the manufacturer that the wine kit juices will age much like wine ages. So the juice loses its fruitiness and can become musty tasting depending on how you store it, and if you've opened it, of course. If you don't, and you keep them in the sealed package, that's even better, and they'll get darker in color. So the bottom line is, again, if you store it properly, if you don't open the kits and they keep them sealed, nothing harmful should happen to them. They just won't be as good as they could be. The manufacturer suggested making the kit within 18 months of the day they were manufactured. And if you're not sure, what Ernie said he was going to do was to dilute the juice and to taste it and see how that goes. Another thing you could do, I would recommend, is just to smell it and look at it. If there's stuff floating in it, that might not be a good idea to use. But the other thing, because kits typically will include fitting agents, yeast, etc., you should look at, if depending on how old they are, replacing those, and you can of course get those from your local winemaking supply stores too. All right. Now, I also today went and I took some pictures of a wine kit that I had, and yeah, mea culpa, I should be part of this Resolution Keepers contest too. Seeing that this kit was, and you can see on the label here, this number here is, I believe, the series number, and then below it, and where's my cursor? Okay, if you can't see this, but it says 2009 January 27, I believe. So this kit is just over a year old and has been sitting on my counter waiting to be made, and I just haven't taken the time to do that, unfortunately. I also bought this Wyeast liquid yeast, which is a higher end because it's a higher end kit, and it's been sitting in my refrigerator for the last year too. Now, the manufacture date here is May 11th of 09, and if you turn around the back, it'll tell you that you've got basically 6 months to use it. I'm going to still use it, and we'll see where it goes. So there you go, where to find the expiry dates on your yeast as well as your wine kit. So of course, if you have any tips or comments to share, please email them to me at tips@helpmywinemaking.com. That's all the time we have, unfortunately. Hope you learned something new, and let me know if you try that method to clean your bottles up. So we'll see you next week, where we'll be talking about some suggestions on how to taste your wine as it ages. Bye for now. Have a great week.